Chapter 5: Maintenance and Property Care. Welcome to Chapter 5 of the Guide to Short-Term Rental Management. In our last chapter, we immersed ourselves in the world of housekeeping systems and staff management, recognizing that cleanliness is a cornerstone of guest satisfaction. Now we broaden our operational focus to another equally vital area: maintenance and property care. Properly maintained properties are not only safer and more comfortable for guests, but they also protect the owner's valuable asset, reduce long-term costs, and uphold the quality standards of your management brand. This chapter will guide you through establishing proactive maintenance routines, effectively handling repairs and emergencies, planning for seasonal needs, working with vendors, and the importance of record keeping. The old adage, "an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure," is exceptionally true in property management. Implementing robust scheduled maintenance and preventive routines is fundamental to successful short-term rental operations. The importance of proactive, preventive maintenance cannot be overstated. Its primary goal is to protect the property owner's financial asset by identifying and addressing minor issues before they escalate into major, costly problems. Regular maintenance ensures guest safety and comfort, which are paramount for positive reviews and repeat bookings. It minimizes unexpected and disruptive emergency repairs, which can ruin a guest's stay and create logistical nightmares. Furthermore, preventive care prolongs the lifespan of essential systems and appliances like heating and air conditioning units, water heaters, and kitchen equipment, deferring expensive replacement costs. It also ensures that the property consistently meets your company's quality standards and any applicable regulatory requirements. Developing an effective preventive maintenance program begins with creating a detailed schedule or calendar for regular checks and servicing of key property components. This schedule should be tailored to each specific property, but will generally cover several critical areas. Heating and air conditioning systems are a top priority. This includes routine filter changes, typically monthly or quarterly, depending on usage and filter type, and annual professional servicing to ensure optimal performance and efficiency, especially before peak heating or cooling seasons. Plumbing systems also require regular attention. This involves routinely checking for small leaks under sinks and around toilets, ensuring drains are clear and not running slow, testing toilet flushing mechanisms, and periodically checking the water heater for any signs of leaks or corrosion. In areas with hard water, annual flushing of the water heater can prevent sediment buildup and extend its life. Regular checks of all major appliances are also part of a good preventive routine. This means confirming the proper function of the refrigerator, including the ice maker, oven, stovetop, dishwasher, washing machine, and dryer. Cleaning accessible filters, such as the dryer vent lint trap, which is also a fire safety issue, and the dishwasher filter, should be done regularly. Safety devices demand unwavering attention. Smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors should be tested monthly, with batteries replaced at least annually or as needed. Fire extinguishers should be checked to ensure they are properly charged and accessible, with annual certification where required. Effective pest control is another aspect of preventive maintenance, often involving scheduled treatments by a professional service on a quarterly or biannual basis, depending on the local environment and property type, to prevent infestations. For the property's exterior, gutters and drains should be cleaned regularly, typically biannually, especially before heavy rain seasons or after autumn leaf fall, to prevent water damage and foundation issues. If the property includes landscaping, a pool, or a hot tub, these will require their own specific and frequent servicing schedules to keep them safe and attractive. Beyond these specific systems, general property condition checks should be part of the routine. This includes visually inspecting for loose railings, damaged or uneven flooring, potential roof issues like missing shingles, and checking window and door seals for drafts or water ingress. The question of who performs these tasks depends on your operational model and the complexity of the task. Simple checks like testing smoke detectors or changing basic air filters might be done by your cleaning staff or a general handyman during turnover or regular visits. More specialized tasks, like heating and air conditioning servicing or significant plumbing work, will require qualified and licensed contractors. Regular property walkthroughs by the property manager or a dedicated maintenance coordinator can also identify emerging preventive maintenance needs. There should be clear communication with property owners regarding your preventive maintenance schedule. Owners should understand the value of these routines and be informed about any associated costs, which are typically their responsibility as part of maintaining their asset. Transparency here helps justify these ongoing expenses as investments in their property's longevity and revenue-generating potential. Despite the best preventive maintenance efforts, repairs will inevitably be needed. Knowing how to efficiently and effectively handle both routine repairs and urgent emergency fixes is a critical skill for any short-term rental property manager. This involves having clear processes, reliable resources, and good communication protocols. A fundamental first step is to define and differentiate between an emergency repair and a non-emergency repair, as this will dictate the urgency and method of response. An emergency typically involves an issue that poses an immediate threat to guest or resident health and safety, or threatens the structural integrity or security of the property. Common examples include a major water leak or burst pipe, a complete loss of heating in cold weather or air conditioning in extreme heat, a suspected gas leak, a serious electrical fault, or a security issue like a broken lock on a main entry door. Non-emergency repairs, while still important to address promptly for guest satisfaction, are those that cause inconvenience but do not pose an immediate threat. Examples include a dripping faucet, a burnt-out light bulb in one of several fixtures, a single appliance malfunctioning if alternatives exist, or minor cosmetic damage. For non-emergency repairs, you should have a clear guest reporting mechanism, perhaps through your guest app, a dedicated email address, or a phone number. Once a report is received, your process should involve assessing the issue. Sometimes a photo or video from the guest can help clarify the problem remotely, then scheduling the repair with your in-house handyman or an appropriate vendor. It is important to communicate with the guest about the expected timeline for the repair and to arrange a convenient time if access to the property is needed while they are in residence. You also need to communicate with the property owner about the issue and the estimated cost, especially if it exceeds a pre-approved spending limit for minor repairs that you might have in your management agreement. Handling emergency fixes requires a more immediate and robust response protocol, as these situations can escalate quickly. Your system must include 24/7 availability for guests to report true emergencies, typically via a dedicated emergency phone line that is always monitored or a messaging system with guaranteed rapid response. Upon receiving an emergency report, the first step is immediate response. Acknowledging the guest's report and quickly assessing the situation. This might involve asking specific questions over the phone or requesting photos or videos if it is safe for the guest to provide them. The next critical step is dispatching help. This means having a pre-vetted list of reliable 24/7 emergency vendors, such as plumbers, electricians, locksmiths, and heating and air conditioning technicians, who can respond quickly, even outside of normal business hours. Throughout an emergency, guest safety and, if necessary, relocation must be a priority. If the property becomes uninhabitable or unsafe due to the emergency, such as major flooding or no heat in freezing temperatures, you must have a plan and policy for temporarily relocating guests. This might involve coordinating with the booking platform for assistance, having arrangements with nearby hotels, or moving guests to another vacant property in your portfolio if available. Simultaneously, you need to ensure prompt owner communication, informing the property owner as soon as practicably possible about the emergency, the actions being taken, and any potential significant costs. For cost authorization in emergencies, your management agreement should ideally give you a pre-agreed spending limit for emergency situations to enable swift action. For costs exceeding this, you will need to make immediate contact with the owner for authorization, though immediate mitigation of damage or safety risks often takes precedence. Regardless of whether it is an emergency or a non-emergency repair, maintaining clear guest communication during the repair process is vital. Keep guests informed about the status of the repair, when technicians are expected, and apologize for any disruption to their stay. Minimizing inconvenience and showing empathy can go a long way in mitigating potential negative reviews, even when things go wrong. Beyond routine preventive maintenance, effective property care also involves seasonal maintenance planning. This means proactively preparing properties for the specific challenges and demands brought on by changing weather conditions throughout the year. A well-thought-out seasonal maintenance plan helps prevent weather-related damage, ensures ongoing guest comfort, and can often identify issues before they become more serious and costly. The specific tasks will vary based on your geographic location and climate, but the principles remain the same. As spring approaches, maintenance efforts often focus on recovering from winter and preparing for warmer weather. This typically includes a thorough exterior cleanup to remove any debris accumulated over winter. It is a good time to inspect the roof, gutters, and siding for any damage that winter storms may have caused. Servicing the heating and air conditioning system to ensure the air conditioning is ready for summer use is crucial. Window and screen cleaning and repair make properties look fresh and allow for ventilation. If the property has an irrigation system, spring is the time to test it and make any necessary repairs. It is also a good period for a pest control assessment, as insect activity often increases with warmer temperatures. For properties with pools or hot tubs, spring involves specific opening procedures to get them ready for guest use. During the summer months, ongoing maintenance often involves more frequent heating and air conditioning filter checks due to increased air conditioning usage. Consistent landscaping upkeep, such as mowing lawns and watering plants, is essential to maintain curb appeal. Pest control may need to remain active. It is also a good time to check and maintain decks, patios, and outdoor furniture, which see more use in summer. As autumn or fall arrives, the focus shifts to preparing for colder weather and potential winter storms. Gutter cleaning becomes critical, removing fallen leaves and debris to prevent blockages that can lead to ice dams and water damage in winter. Servicing the heating and air conditioning system to ensure the heating is functioning optimally before the cold sets in is a priority. For properties in colder climates, irrigation system winterization, like draining the pipes to prevent freezing, is essential. This is also the time to inspect and seal any drafts around windows and doors to improve energy efficiency and guest comfort. If the property has a fireplace or chimney, an inspection and cleaning should be scheduled. Protecting exterior faucets from freezing is another important step. For pools and hot tubs, specific closing procedures will be necessary. Winter maintenance in colder climates primarily involves monitoring for issues like ice dams on roofs or frozen pipes and taking preventative measures where possible. Ensuring that walkways and driveways are kept clear of snow and ice is crucial for guest safety, and the responsibility for this should be clearly defined in your management agreement or addressed through your service plan. Ongoing monitoring to confirm that heating systems are working efficiently is important, and performing interior checks for any new leaks or drafts that may emerge during winter is also a recommended practice. Effective seasonal maintenance requires thorough documentation and scheduling. These tasks should be integrated into your overall annual maintenance calendar. It is also important to communicate your seasonal maintenance plans with property owners, explaining the necessity of these tasks and any associated costs, framing them as essential for protecting their investment against the elements. Unless you have a large, multi-talented in-house maintenance team, you will need to work with external vendors and contractors to handle specialized repairs and maintenance tasks. Building a reliable network of these professionals and managing these relationships effectively is a key component of efficient property care. The first step is building your network. It is crucial to have a list of reliable, licensed, and properly insured vendors for all the various trades you might need, such as plumbers, electricians, heating and air conditioning technicians, handymen, appliance repair specialists, locksmiths, painters, landscapers, and potentially more specialized contractors for things like roofing or pest control. Do not wait for an emergency to find a good plumber. Cultivate these relationships proactively. When selecting vendors, several criteria should be considered. The quality of their work is paramount. Look for vendors with good reputations and ask for references or examples of their previous work. Reliability and responsiveness are also critical. especially for emergency situations. You need vendors who will show up when they say they will and can respond quickly when urgent issues arise. Fair pricing is important, but it should not be the only factor. Sometimes, paying a little more for a highly reliable and skilled vendor is a better long-term value. Absolutely verify that any vendor you hire carries the proper licensing for their trade, where required by your state or locality, and crucially, adequate liability insurance and workers' compensation coverage. This protects you and your property owner from liability if an accident occurs while they are working on a property. For larger jobs, it is always good practice to get multiple quotes to ensure competitive pricing. Once you have selected a vendor, setting clear expectations from the outset is key. This involves clear communication of the job scope, agreed upon timelines for completion, procedures for accessing the property, your quality standards, and payment terms. For any significant job, it is wise to have a written agreement or work order in place that details these terms. Managing vendor performance is an ongoing task. Monitor the quality of their work and their adherence to schedules. Address any issues with their performance promptly and professionally. Conversely, acknowledge and appreciate good work to foster positive long-term relationships. Establish clear payment procedures. Pay your reliable vendors in a timely manner once work is completed satisfactorily, as this encourages them to prioritize your calls in the future. Ensure they provide clear and detailed invoices. Over time, you will develop a preferred vendor list, a group of trusted professionals you can rely on. However, sometimes property owners may have their own preferred vendors. Your policy on this should be clear. While you might accommodate an owner's preference, it is often advisable to explain the benefits of using your vetted list, especially regarding insurance, reliability, and familiarity with your operational procedures. If you do use an owner's preferred vendor, ensure they still meet your minimum insurance and licensing requirements. Well-kept maintenance logs, appropriate tools for tracking, and thorough record keeping are the administrative backbone of any professional property care system. The importance of this documentation cannot be stressed enough. Comprehensive records allow you to track the complete maintenance history for each property in your portfolio, which is invaluable for many reasons. It helps with budgeting and forecasting future maintenance expenses. Well-kept logs can be essential for supporting warranty claims on appliances or repairs. They demonstrate your company's due diligence and professionalism to property owners, providing transparency about how their investment is being cared for. In the unfortunate event of a dispute or legal issue, such as a guest claiming injury due to alleged negligence in maintenance, detailed records can provide legal protection by offering proof of repairs made and regular upkeep. So, what information should your maintenance logs track for every reported issue or service call? At a minimum, you should record the date the service request was made or the issue was first reported. Include a clear description of the issue or the maintenance task performed. Always note the property address and specific unit number if applicable. It is helpful to record who reported the issue, whether it was a guest, a cleaner, your staff, or the owner. Track the date the work was assigned to a vendor or your in-house team, and note the specific vendor or staff member assigned. Record the date the work was completed. Provide a detailed description of the work performed to resolve the issue. Document the full cost of the repair, breaking down materials and labor if possible. For significant repairs, attaching photos taken before and after the work was done is excellent practice. Finally, note any warranties provided on parts or labor for future reference. To manage this information effectively, you will need appropriate tools for record keeping. For very small portfolios, simple spreadsheets might suffice initially, but they quickly become unwieldy and inefficient as you grow. Most modern property management software includes integrated maintenance modules that allow you to log, track, assign, and manage maintenance tasks, often with associated cost tracking and reporting features. There is also dedicated maintenance management software, or apps, available that offer more advanced features specifically for managing property upkeep, vendor communication, and scheduling. Regardless of the primary tool, ensure you have a system for digital document storage where you can keep copies of all vendor invoices, warranties, service agreements, and contractor insurance certificates. Part of your system should include a clear maintenance request process. How are issues initially reported to you? For example, via a dedicated phone line, email address, a guest app, an owner portal, or a cleaner reporting app? And how are these requests then logged and tracked through to completion? Transparent reporting to owners is also key. Many managers include a summary of maintenance activities and associated costs in their regular owner statements. If you use an owner portal through your property management software, providing owners with direct access to view the maintenance logs for their property can greatly enhance transparency and trust. Finally, make it a practice to regularly review your maintenance logs across your portfolio. This periodic review can help you identify any recurring issues with specific properties or particular appliances, which might indicate a need for more significant capital improvements or replacements. It can also help you spot properties that are consistently incurring high maintenance costs, allowing you to discuss potential solutions with the owner. This brings us to the end of Chapter 5. We have covered the essential strategies and systems for maintaining the properties under your care, from proactive scheduled routines and effective repair handling to seasonal planning, vendor management, and good record keeping. In Chapter 6, we will transition to another area of importance for every property manager: legal matters every property manager must know.